In today's video, I'm talking about an experience that shook me more than I expected. It began like any ordinary morning, or at least it felt that way at first. Kind of day where everything runs smoothly at the Lakeside Community Health Center. But what happened with one particular visitor didn't just test my professional boundaries. It made me question my own reactions. I stepped into the softly lit consultation room, tablet in hand, trying to ignore the flutter rising in my chest. I had done this routine countless times. As a nurse in a busy neighborhood clinic, I'd handled everything from urgent concerns to simple check-ins. But something about this room, this person, felt different. Mr. Harrison was in his early 50s, a calm, thoughtful man who had come in a few times before. That day, he was scheduled for his usual heart and blood pressure review. Nothing unusual, but as soon as I walked in, a quiet tension settled over the space. He was already sitting up on the exam chair, his posture tight, eyes quietly scanning the walls as if he couldn't decide whether he wanted to speak or stay silent forever. "Good afternoon, Mr. Harrison," I said softly, offering a polite smile and hoping to ease the heavy air. "How are you feeling today?" He gave a small nod, almost too quick. His eyes stayed lowered. Something in his expression made my stomach tighten. "All right, let's get you set up for the monitor," I said gently, stepping closer to arrange the cables. As I adjusted the loose clinic robe around his shoulders, I noticed the fabric falling in an odd way, like it hadn't been tied properly. I looked away immediately, warmth rushing up my neck. "Stay calm," I reminded myself. "Stay steady. You've handled awkward moments before." But even as I straightened the robe and prepared the equipment, I couldn't shake the feeling that something felt off. Not unsafe, but emotionally charged in a way I didn't understand. Then he shifted suddenly. The robe slipped slightly to the side, leaving him looking more exposed emotionally rather than physically, his face full of worry and uncertainty. I turned my head out of respect, letting out a small breath. Do I address the awkwardness, pretend nothing happened, step out? Before I made a decision, the door opened. "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt," another nurse said, poking her head in and freezing for a moment, picking up on the strange, fragile atmosphere. Then she stepped out quickly and closed the door behind her. Mr. Harrison looked embarrassed, almost apologetic. He quickly fixed the robe and whispered an apology under his breath. I tried to steady the moment. "It's all right," I said gently. "Let's just continue." As I reached for fresh linens, his hand brushed mine, light, hesitant, unsure. A wave of emotion hit me. Was it an accident? A plea for reassurance? A moment of connection he didn't know how to express? I kept moving, keeping the space calm and respectful. Then Dr. Hale stepped into the room, unaware of the emotional tension from seconds earlier. "Everything good in here?" he asked casually while looking through the chart. "Yes, doctor," I replied quickly, stepping back. "Mr. Harrison is all set." I didn't look back as I left, even with the door closed behind me. The sense of unease stayed with me, mixed with something I couldn't name. Later that afternoon, I was reviewing charts at the nurse's station when a message popped up from reception. "Mr. Harrison has requested Nurse Mara for tomorrow's follow-up." My stomach sank. Why me? Was he just looking for comfort after an embarrassing moment? Or was something else happening that I wasn't seeing? The next day, I stood outside his consultation room again. I took a breath, preparing myself, then knocked. When I stepped in, his eyes met mine. His whole demeanor had shifted. The embarrassment was gone. He looked steadier, almost warm. "I've been thinking about you," he said with a gentle smile. My pulse skipped. "Let's just begin with your checkup, Mr. Harrison," I replied, keeping my voice steady and professional. But he didn't look away. Even as I placed the leads and checked his vitals, I could feel his attention on me. Not pushy, not inappropriate, but full of meaning I wasn't sure how to read. Something inside me whispered, "This isn't typical." The following morning I told myself I was overthinking, that maybe he was just friendly and meant nothing unusual by it. Then it happened again. 10:01 a.m., new message. "Mr. Harrison is ready. He asked for you specifically." No, this couldn't keep happening. I walked into the room with my guard up, not unkind, just firm. I wasn't there to offer extra comfort. I wasn't there for anything personal. "Good morning," I said plainly. "Let's begin." He gave that same soft smile. I'm really glad it's you. I didn't answer. I worked calmly, keeping everything simple and routine. Then he leaned forward slightly, his voice gentler than before. I've been thinking about you, he said again in the same tender tone. I straightened. Mr. Harrison, I'm here to provide care. Let's keep things professional. He nodded slowly, almost like he expected that answer. That gentle smile didn't fade. His eyes stayed calm and steady on mine. Then the door opened. Relief rushed through me for a moment. Another witness, maybe, but it wasn't a doctor. It was a woman. Mid-40s, well-dressed, sharp eyes, not staff, not a patient. Am I interrupting something? She asked softly. Mr. Harrison flinched, barely but noticeably. No, not at all, I said quickly. I stepped back from the chair. I was just finishing up. She didn't move. She looked at him, then at me, then back at him again, and in that moment I understood. His partner. I didn't wait. I stepped out, heart racing, thoughts spinning. I had just walked away from something that felt like it was already unraveling. Back at the nurse's desk, I tried to shake it off, but I couldn't. She knew something or sensed something, and she wasn't wrong. Later that day, another message arrived. Mr. Harrison has requested you again. That was it. I approached Leah, our lead RN. Could someone else take Mr. Harrison tomorrow? I asked quietly. He's becoming too familiar with me. I need a break. She gave me a concerned look. We're short-staffed, but I'll try to shift things around. No promises. The next morning, there it was again. My name next to his. I took a long breath. This time, I was completely prepared. No softness, no room for confusion. When I entered the room, he was already there. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't confident. He was staring out the window, hands clasped tightly. I wanted to talk to you, he said without turning around. I stood by the door. About what? He turned slowly. About everything that happened before. I didn't move closer. I kept my voice calm. I'm here to focus on your care, nothing else. His eyes softened. I crossed a line, he said quietly. I just wanted to apologize. I stood still. Was this genuine? A reset? A misunderstanding being corrected? Finally, I said, let's keep things purely professional from now on. He nodded. The rest of the checkup passed in calm silence. I stayed focused, clear, and respectful, offering no mixed signals and no extra conversation. When I left the room, I didn't look back.